August 26, 2005, Gulfport, Mississippi. Hurricane Katrina's winds, reaching 120 miles per hour, are pummeling the shorelines. Water levels are rising. George Karunas and his storm-chasing colleagues are reporting on the hurricane for news outlets.
Really picking up right now. This is a huge system. This is the mother of all storms.
They are protecting themselves in an elevated parking garage.
So what you have to do is find some type of shelter and then put yourself in the path and let the storm overtake you. And hopefully the building that you chose is a strong enough bunker to withstand this.
George and his colleagues realize how bad this hurricane really is.
Once we read that warning, we realized the gravity of the situation.
Hurricanes are devastating, and it really doesn't matter what stage the hurricane is at.
You guys really get a feel for what's going on here.
We could hear the wind start to pick up, get louder and louder. Then you could start to hear the whistling of the wires, the smashing of glass, and the rumble of the building starting to shake.
As these wind speeds begin to pick up and the circulation begins to spin faster and faster, we now have a Category 5. It's not just the winds that are very devastating that can easily move houses off of their foundation. We now have storm surge to worry about. Think of it as a hurricane is like a giant straw. So it lifts up and sucks up the sea. So a storm surge can go many, many kilometers inland as long as the hurricane continues to maintain its strength. It's a very serious, and it's also the most deadliest component within a hurricane. That's intense erosion along the coastal areas, intense flooding that could last for days, even weeks, power outages, and people just without food and clean basic water for months even. The storm surge associated with Hurricane Katrina, this was the deadly factor with this hurricane.
We were there for a variety of reasons. We were sending reports back for the Weather Network. We were documenting the entire storm from start to finish as filmmakers to show people how bad these storms get, and hopefully they'll heed the warnings the next time a storm like this comes around. Because of the construction of this particular building, there are lots of little corridors and stairwells and sheltered areas where you can get out of the wind, but the howling wind is mere feet away from you. So it's a perfect vantage point to be able to do some live reports. Because this was a multi-level parking garage, we were able to reposition our vehicles. So as the storm surge flooding came in, we were able to reposition so that we didn't completely damage our cars. They were our lifeline. At the end of the storm, that was going to be the only way for us to get out of there. As the winds ramp up and we reach the maximum intensity of the storm, to get from point A to point B, I literally have to crawl across the ground. Because if I were to stand up, I would have been blown away like a kite. The wind was that strong. And it's not so much that the wind is blowing, it's what the wind is blowing. It's full of debris. There were pieces of sheet metal flying around like helicopter blades, which we nicknamed the decapitator. There were pieces of office furniture coming out of the nearby bank building. The winds are so strong, you can't even see across the street. Every time you step into the wind, it's a struggle. You're being hit by debris. Every raindrop hurts. You have to worry about tree branches. There are a million things in your mind, and you don't know which is going to be the next unseen thing that comes out of the murk to kill you. I don't think I've ever felt so trapped in my life. We were about a half a mile inland, and we still had water that was up to my waist. Because the winds in a hurricane, they rotate around a central point, as the storm progresses, the winds are going to constantly shift. So if you position yourself or your vehicle in a place that's safe right now, an hour from now, the wind is going to be impacting it. So we had to constantly move our vehicles, position them to new places. This storm was more intense than anything I had ever experienced. Once the storm surge flooding started to inundate the parking garage, that's when things really ramped up. I did not know if I was documenting what was ultimately my own demise. We didn't know if we were going to survive the next few hours. It's like being in a blender for 8 hours. You can hear the sound of buildings just being smashed, glass breaking, debris. It was surreal. During the middle of this storm, it was so ferocious that there was absolutely no way that any kind of emergency service could possibly get to you. 911 was off the table. It wouldn't take much to kill one of us, all of us. The oppressive feeling of the storm trapping you in this one location is hard for me to put into words. You can't step outside because you're gonna get blown away. You can't drive out of there because the floodwaters have come up. There is literally nowhere you can go. You're at Mother Nature's mercy.
Now that the storm is over, George can finally witness the devastation and destruction.
I am blown away by what I've seen. It looked like a bomb had gone off. There were trees down everywhere, arcing power lines. We could smell the gas from gas leaks. And literally, the town was just smashed to bits. I'd never seen that kind of widespread destruction.
1,833 people lost their lives. In addition, Hurricane Katrina left thousands of people homeless, destroying 800,000 homes.
In all of my years of storm chasing, I still have not seen damage like that from a storm. This was a widespread tragedy. I like to document extreme phenomena. They only become natural disasters when they affect human populations and habitations. A hurricane that's spinning out to sea, that's not a natural disaster. It's just the earth trying to equalize itself. But when they impact towns and cities, that's when they become disasters.